I never thought standing up to my HOA over a bridge to my sister's island would uncover a multi-million-dollar corruption scheme involving politicians, developers, and my nosy neighbors. How was I supposed to know that fighting for my right to visit my cancer-stricken sister would lead to FBI raids and secret recordings that would bring down an entire criminal enterprise? I was tending my garden when the official HOA letter arrived, bright yellow paper, their way of saying, "This is serious." My hands trembled as I read the words. Unauthorized structure must be removed within 30 days. They were talking about the wooden footbridge I built last summer, the only direct path to my sister Laura's island home in Lake Pinewood. "This can't be happening," I whispered, sinking onto my porch steps. Laura's battle with cancer had gotten worse. That bridge cut a 45-minute drive down to a 3-minute walk. She needed me close by, especially on her bad days after chemo. I immediately called the HOA office, but nobody answered. Of course not. Diane Powell only worked when it suited her schedule. I'd have to confront her directly at tomorrow's board meeting. Sleep didn't come easy that night. I tossed and turned, my mind racing with worst-case scenarios. Without that bridge, how would I get Laura her medications? Her groceries? How would I reach her if she had an emergency? The next morning, I walked in the community center like I was stepping into a lion's den, my stomach in knots, but my resolve steel hard. The place buzzed with whispers. 20 neighbors sat in neat rows of folding chairs, while 5 board members perched up front like they were royalty. Diane Powell, the HOA queen bee, sat dead center, her silver-streaked hair perfectly styled, reading glasses dangling from a chain around her neck like a badge of authority. "Next item," she announced, nose buried in her agenda. "Enforcement actions for unapproved structures." I shot my hand up. I'd like to discuss the violation notice about my footbridge. Diane's eyes narrowed, zeroing in on me. "Rebecca Miles, 42 Lakeside Drive, yes? We've documented your unpermitted construction. It violates 3 separate covenants." I stood, voice shaky but firm. "It's on my private property, and it connects to Laura's island, which isn't even part of the HOA's turf." She didn't blink. "The shoreline falls under our purview. You didn't submit plans for approval." I felt my throat tighten. My sister has stage 3 pancreatic cancer. That bridge is her lifeline. I take her to treatments, bring her meals. Diane cut me off, cold as ice. "Personal circumstances don't exempt anyone from the rules. The board decision is unanimous." From the corner, Greg Tanner, my new neighbor with a smirk that could curdle milk, nodded like he'd just scored a point. He'd been whining about my wind chimes and bird feeders since day one. Now he had his sights on my bridge. Funny how his giant RV parked in his driveway never got a peep from the HOA. "I'll appeal," I said, locking eyes with Diane. Her tight smile didn't reach her eyes. "You're welcome to try, but construction on that eyesore stops now. Removal starts next week." The meeting broke up, and as I headed out, a soft touch on my arm stopped me. It was Jenna Hayes, a young mom from down the street. "This happened to me too," she whispered. "They made me tear down my kid's place at last month. Said it was too visible from the lake. How did they get away with it?" I frowned. "What's their secret?" She glanced around, voice low. "Diane's husband plays golf with the county commissioner. Half the board works for Lakeview Development. They've got this place on a leash." My mind started spinning. There was more to this than petty rules. Back home, I caught Greg on his deck, snapping pics of my property with a telephoto lens. No hiding it. He just smirked and waved when he saw me glaring. That afternoon, I called Laura. "The HOA is making me take down the bridge." Her voice, thin as a reed, broke my heart. "What? Why?" "They claim I didn't get permits, but I checked with the county before building." "No permits needed since it's not public land." She sighed. "This isn't right, Becca. Without that bridge, I'll fight it. I promised. I'll kayak your groceries over for now. Winter's a problem." "That's not safe," she protested. "Maybe I should sell, move closer." "No chance," I said fiercely. "That island's been ours for 3 generations. Mom and Dad left it to you because it's your haven. We'll figure out." That night, I dug into my property maps and HOA bylaws, hunting for a way out. 3 hours later, I struck gold. The HOA only controls stuff visible from community property. My bridge, hidden by trees from the dock, barely a speck from the road, or water unless you knew where to look. I grabbed my camera, documenting every angle. Then my phone rang, an unfamiliar number. Ms. Miles? This is Tom Grayson from Lakeview Development. Heard you're having some property trouble. My stomach dropped. How'd you get my number? Small community, he chuckled. We're interested in waterfront lots. Sell us yours and your sister's, and this HOA nonsense goes away. Well above market value. Not selling. I snapped. Hanging up, I called Laura. Did Lakeview just call you? Yeah, she said, shaken. How'd you know? They hit me too. Something's fishy. Next morning, a construction crew rolled up. A guy in a hard hat waved a clipboard. Rebecca Miles? Here to start removing the unauthorized structure. I stood my ground. I filed an appeal. You can't touch it till the HOA reviews it. He shrugged. Orders from the board president. This is my land. You're trespassing without permission. He muttered into his phone, then backed off. We'll be back tomorrow with the sheriff if we have to. I bolted to the county records office. Pulling my deed, the clerk squinted at her screen. That's weird. There's a pending petition to redraw the shoreline boundaries, filed 3 months ago by Lakeview Development. What's that mean? If it passes, shoreline stuff needs county permits, approved by the Zoning Commission. Chair by Commissioner Reynolds. Diane's husband's golf buddy. The dots were connecting. Jenna called as I drove home. Becca, come to my place quick. There's someone you need to meet. 20 minutes later, I sat in her living room with 4 neighbors. Mike Sullivan, hit with boat dock fines. Mrs. Eda Parker, hassled over a garden. The Chin family, denied a sunroom while Diane's got a free pass. A new face spoke up. I'm Paul Carter, former HOA treasurer. Quit last year when I saw payments to a fake consulting firm. Why not report it? I asked. I tried, he said darkly. Next day, my house got broken into. Nothing stolen, just my records messed up. A warning. Mrs. Parker's hands trembled. What do we do? We fight back, I said, voice steady, starting with saving my bridge. This was war now, and I was all in. After that powwow at Jenna's, I knew we'd stirred something ugly. Driving home, headlights dogged me, too close for comfort, turn after turn. My heart hammered as I pulled into my driveway. A black SUV slowed past, Lakeview Development logo gleaming, then sped off. Inside, I locked every door, peeking out as Greg stood on his deck. Phone pressed his ear, staring my way. A text ping from an unknown number. Selling's easier than fighting. Some battles cost too much. Sleep? Not happening. Before dawn, I slipped out with a flashlight in my phone, heading to the bridge. If they were coming today, I needed evidence it was still standing. Laura texted, "You okay?" Couldn't sleep worrying. "I'm fine," I shot back, recording the bridge. Stay there. The planks creaked as I filmed. Dad's hand-carved railings, sturdy supports, the shoreline untouched. A twig snapped behind me. I whirled, flashlight cutting the dark. Who's there? No answer, but a shadow flitted into the trees. I ran home, calling the non-emergency police line. Officer Daniels showed up, half asleep. "Probably animals, ma'am. We'll patrol more." This isn't the first odd thing. I pressed. "Someone's watching me." "Got proof?" "Not yet." He handed me a card. "Call if you see something real." By sunrise, the real threat arrived. 3 trucks from Lakeside Construction, Diane stepping out her silver Mercedes, clipboard in hand. "Ms. Miles," she called. All fake cheer. "Hope you reconsidered. We're here to remove that structure." I stood on my porch, phone secretly recording. "I filed an appeal with proof it's not under your covenants. You can't touch it till it's heard." Her smile thinned. Last night's emergency meeting denied it. Notice went up on the community board. At night? That's not proper notice. I should have been told directly. Rules are rules. she snapped. Step aside. I bluffed hard. I've got a court order. Touch that bridge before next week's county hearing, and it's contempt. Her eyes bored into me. Show me. My attorney's got it. Here in an hour. The foreman fidgeted. Mrs. Powell, if there's legal stuff, we should hold off. She glared, then caved. Fine. Monday it's down, order or not. They left, and my knees nearly gave out. The lie bought me time. Paul called right after. Becca, it's me. Jenna said they're moving fast. Meet me at Cedar Creek Coffee in 20. The cafe was quiet. Paul waiting with a folder. I've been digging since I quit, he said. Spreading papers, sketchy payments, alter minutes, property values shifting when owners wouldn't sell. This is fraud at least. I said, coffee cooling. Bigger, he whispered. Lake views tied to casinos. That resort? Step 1. Step 2 is a private gambling spot, dodging county rules. How? Senator Brooks pushed a loophole bill last year. Entertainment zones. Lakeview CEO funded his campaign. I sat back, floored. So my bridge is blocking a casino empire? Yours and Laura's Island are the missing links for their shoreline plan. Without them, it flops. The pressure made sense now. I called Laura. We need to meet, not over phone. Can you come tonight? Chemo today, she said, weak. I'll be too sick. I'll come to you. Don't talk about your property to anyone. I kayaked over, packing docks, soup, and a sweater for her. As I launched, that black SUV cruised by, Greg in the passenger seat. The lake was rough, soaking me, but Laura's pale face at her window fueled me. You shouldn't have come in this, she scolded. We've got trouble, I said, laying out Paul's evidence. Her eyes widened. That's why they've been calling me daily. Tom Grayson upping offers. Yesterday, he knew my medical bills exactly. Who've you told? Just insurance, the hospital, you. Greg's spine clicked. They're tracking us. We weighed options. Selling was off the table. This was our heritage. Go public, I suggested. News eats up stories like this. Cancer patient versus greedy developers. Laura hesitated. They've got power, Becca. We've got truth in neighbors. Night fell, and I kayaked back, spotting debris mid-lake, planks, railings. My bridge, half torn apart. Flashlights moved on my shore, tools humming. I called 911 from the water. Trespassers are destroying my bridge. Hiding in the dark, I watched Greg and 2 others work till police lights scattered them. Officer Daniels met me ashore. HOA says you agreed to this. They forged it. I snapped. Proof? Not yet. Half the bridge was gone, unsafe now. Inside, a Lakeview card sat on my table. Final offer, $750,000 for you, $1.2 million for Laura's Island. Expires tomorrow. They'd been in my house. Fear turned to fury. I wasn't running, but I had to get smarter. The bridge being wrecked hit me like a punch to the gut. But that Lakeview card on my coffee table, that was personal. Someone had waltzed into my home, left their threat like a calling card, and walked out. My hands shook as I checked every room. Nothing else touched, but the violation lingered like a bad smell. I called Paul, voice low. They broke in, left an offer. Get out, he said sharp. Come to my place. Bring what you've got. If I leave, they win. If you stay, you're a target. This isn't just a bridge fight anymore. Then my lights died. Pitch black inside, but the neighborhood glowed outside. A text pinged. Last chance. Things get messy after tonight. I grabbed my flashlight, docks, and laptop, slipping out the back to Jenna's place. We'd build a case they couldn't dodge. Next day, I took my boat. Bridge gone. It was a 40-minute slog around the peninsula to Laura's. The motor sputtered and I cursed. Couldn't afford fixes after Diane's $750 fine for improper bridge removal. Laura sat in her garden, paler than yesterday, her green scarf loose around her shoulders. Guess what? She said, forcing a smile. Doc says I'm responding to the new treatment. I hugged her, hiding my exhaustion. That's huge. I sorted her meds while she rested, hands trembling from 3 hours of sleep. Stop faking it, she called from the doorway. You look worse than me and I've got cancer. I sighed. Found something weird. Remember the HOA fee hike last year for infrastructure? Nothing got fixed. She nodded. Look at this, I said, opening my laptop. Public records show Green Valley Landscaping got $487,000 over 3 years. For what? Exactly. Guess who owns it? I pulled up a registration. Diane's brother-in-law, Carl Powell. Laura's jaw dropped. They're stealing. More. HOA is buying foreclosed homes via a shell company. 6 in 2 years. And Greg Tanner's mortgage firm triggers the foreclosures with tiny errors owners can't fight. Rain started pounding as thunder rolled and I had to beat the storm back. Be careful with this, Laura warned. They sound dangerous. I'll be fine. Meeting Jenna and Mike tonight. Soaked and shivering. I docked at the marina, not clocking the black SUV nearby. My front door creaked open, security light flashing red. Inside, drawers gaped, papers everywhere, my desktop gone. On the kitchen counter, an HOA notice, dated today, unauthorized investigation of board activities. $2,500 fine. My phone rang. Jenna, panicked. Mike just called. 2 guys evicted him from his house. Changed the locks while he was out. How? Said his last 6 payments were messed up. He's got 3 days. I locked my doors. They know we're digging. Worse, she whispered. I tailed Greg yesterday. Lunch with a Lakeview guy. Got pics. They mentioned permits for a resort, Laura's Island as the final piece. It clicked. They'd trashed my bridge to isolate Laura, force her out. I dialed Laura. No answer. My doorbell rang. Through the peephole, 2 suits stood under umbrellas. One flashed a badge. Rebecca Miles? FBI. We need to talk about Lakeside HOA. My breath caught. Diane's doing or something bigger? Sit down, said the tall one, Agent Harris. Showing his ID. I'm with Agent Lopez. We've been on the HOA for 8 months. Money laundering, fraud, racketeering. My jaw hit the floor. You're not arresting me? Lopez smirked. No, your bridge mess helped us. You got stuff we couldn't touch without warrants. Relief hit, then dread. Laura's alone. Her phone's dead. Agents are en route, Harris said. I grabbed my keys. I'm going now. They followed. We'll drive. Rain lashed the windshield as we sped to the marina. My boat's fuel line was sliced clean. Not an accident, Lopez said. Harris radioed. Teams to North Shore. Threats imminent. I spotted Mike's kayak at the dock. I'm not waiting, Harris shouted. Too risky in this storm. But I was already paddling into the chaos, shouting back, followed by road. Waves tossed me like a toy, lightning flashing Laura's island ahead. My arms screamed, but fear kept me going. At her dock, 2 black SUVs sat near her house, lights on, shadows moving. I tied up under the dock, creeping through wet bushes. Voices leaked from an open window. Switzerland's best treatment. Fully paid, Ms. Miles. Just sign, a smooth voice said. I'm not selling, Laura rasped. You can't afford care without us, Greg's voice cut in. Peering in, I saw Laura cornered, Greg blocking a door, a suited guy waving papers. My sister's coming, she said defiantly. The suit laughed. She's busy with the FBI. A little mix-up we set up. Time to crash their party. I stood there, drenched, peering through Laura's kitchen window as Greg and that slick suit guy tried to bully her into signing away her island. My blood boiled. Laura, frail but fierce, stared them down. My sister's coming, she said, chin up. The suit chuckled. She's tied up with the FBI. Our doing. That was my cue. I grabbed a flower pot from Laura's garden and smashed the back window, glass shattering like my patience. Climbing through, I cut my hand but didn't care. Actually, I'm right here, I said, stepping in. And now I get why you trashed my bridge, to cut Laura off. Greg spun, face twisting. You should have stayed out of this, Rebecca. Laura shuffled toward me, relief in her eyes. Back off, my sister. I snapped. planted myself between them. The suit guy adjusted his tie. Cool as ice. Ms. Miles, I'm Victor Lang, Lakeview Development's chief officer. We're offering your sister a generous deal. You mean harassing a cancer patient after isolating her? I shot back. Business is business, he shrugged. Her island's the heart of our resort. Everyone else signed. Because you rigged foreclosures through Greg's company? Greg's face paled. You've got nothing, he snarled, eyes flicking to Victor. I've got copies. I bluffed, including your lunch chat yesterday about the resort. Victor's calm cracked. Where? Safe, with people who'll spill if we're touched. Laura found her voice. You're done. Greg lunged at her, grabbing her arm. Sign the damn papers. I snatched a knife from the counter, not to stab, but to scare. Hands off. Blue lights flashed outside, FBI megaphone blaring. House surrounded. Come out with your hands up. Victor went white. Greg dropped Laura like she was hot coal. You led them here, he hissed at me. No, your greed did. My phone buzzed. Agent Harris. Turn on your TV tomorrow, Victor muttered. Pineview doesn't lose, but Greg cut in. Shut up about Senator Brooks. Too late. FBI swarmed in, cuffing them. Harris met me outside. We've got them. 8 months of work, and your fight tipped it. Laura, safe. Agents are with her. I exhaled, shaky but standing. Next morning, I flicked on the TV. Diane in handcuffs, hauled from her fancy house as neighbors gawked. The anchor's voice boomed. FBI raids Lakeside HOA board in massive fraud probe. My coffee went cold as I stared. By noon, my doorbell was a symphony. Reporters, neighbors, randoms. I dodged them, driving to the FBI office with my docs as Harris requested. He spread photos on a table. Recognize these? Diane and her husband with developers, swapping envelopes, eyeing Laura's island maps, one with Senator Brooks pointing at plans. We tracked $4 million through shell companies tied aboard, Harris said. Greg, ex-real estate lawyer, disbarred for fraud. My stomach flipped. They wanted Laura's land that bad? Almost got it. Used the HOA to corner her. Cut her off with your bridge. My hand shook. Bastards. We need a favor, Harris said, sliding a recorder over. Tonight's HOA meeting. Get Diane to spill publicly. Bait! We need the community to see their victims too. That night, I walked into the packed community center, wire taped to my ribs, heart pounding. Jenna squeezed my hand as I passed. Diane stood at the podium, unruffled despite the raids. These claims are baseless, she declared. We've always served you. I waited till she finished, then stood. Then why'd you demolish my bridge to isolate Laura while Lakeview pressured her cell? Whispers rippled. Diane's smile tightened. Your structure broke rules, Rebecca. Nothing more. Really? Jenna handed out docs. Undervalued island assessments. Fake contamination reports. Board payments from Lakeview. Diane's husband leapt up. That's confidential. Mike yelled. Public now in a federal case. Diane's mask slipped. You ungrateful lot. Do you know what that resort would have done for values? By forcing out my dying sister? I stepped closer. By rigging zoning laws? She snapped. Laura got a fair offer. If she wasn't so stubborn, the room hushed. So the bridge was tied to Lakeview's plans? She froze, realizing her slip. Senator Brooks promised protection, she blurted. Said it'd stay quiet if we handled it. The doors swung open. Brooks strode in, flanked by agents. I promised no such thing, he said, tie straight. My office is cooperating fully. Diane went gray as agents moved in. Greg slipped out a side door. Slimy as ever, the fight wasn't over, but the tide had turned. Diane's slip at that meeting was the crack we needed. Her naming Senator Brooks lit a fire under the whole mess. As agents hauled her in the boardway, I watched Greg vanish out that side door, a rat-jumping ship. The crowd buzzed, anger, shock, relief, but I couldn't relax. Laura was still out there, and this wasn't done. Next day, my phone buzzed with updates. Not guilty. Diane's lawyer crowed to reporters outside court. I gripped my phone till my knuckles ached. How? Agent Harris called. 2 counts dropped, but fraud and conspiracy stick. It's not over. 3 months of legal hell had drained me. Savings gone. Laura's health fading from stress. Greg AWOL. Jenna stopped by with dinner. They'll target your land next, she warned. Diane's husband filed countersuits. Emotional distress, defamation. Let them try, I said, fear gnawing me. I couldn't afford more fights. That night, I stared across the lake at Laura's dark house. Bridge gone. I'd have to wait till morning. Then I saw it, a flashlight sweeping her porch. My gut screamed. I called 911, racing to my boat. Someone's at my sister's. The motor coughed in the cold as I sped across, panic rising. Halfway, police headlights lit the peninsula road. Too slow. I'd get there first. Cutting the engine, I drifted to her dock. The flashlight moved inside, drawers dumping, papers rustling. I grabbed an oar, creeping in. Freeze! I yelled at a figure hunched over Laura's desk. The light swung, blinding me. Rebecca? Not a crook, Mike Sullivan. What the hell? I lowered the oar. He held up a thumb drive. Laura called. Said she remembered something big. Police lights flashed as he explained. She's got video, Greg and Brooks faking environmental reports to force her sale. That drive flipped everything. Within weeks, Brooks' shield crumbled. He faced indictment. Diane's defenses tanked when her offshore account surfaced, stuffed with Lakeview cash. Then Mrs. Edith Parker dropped a bombshell. 12 years of HOA notes, every petty rule and shady deal. Always knew Diane was trouble, she said when I thanked her. Started with her finding my bird feeders while ignoring her cronies. At the final hearing, Laura rolled in, wheelchair-bound but unbowed. The judge's voice rang out. Karen Mitchell, 8 years for conspiracy, fraud, and misappropriation. Diane wouldn't look at us. Her designer threads swapped for prison garb. Victory tasted bittersweet. Laura was safe, but at what cost? The community meeting had set it off, and now the pieces fell. Greg was still out there, but the big fish were frying. Laura's island? Untouchable now, thanks to Edith's meticulous memory and Mike's find. As I drove home, I wondered, would they rebuild that bridge, or had we built something stronger? 6 months after Diane's sentencing, spring rolled in soft and warm, like the world was exhaling. We gathered on Laura's island, not just me and her, but Jenna, Mike, Mrs. Edith, and half the neighborhood. Laura's cancer was in remission, weak but winning, and we weren't just celebrating that. A new bridge stretched across Lake Pinewood, wider and sturdier than my old one, paid for with HOA restitution cash. Should we cut a ribbon? Jenna asked, champagne bubbling in her hand. Laura shook her head, smiling. No fuss needed. This bridge isn't just ours anymore. It's everyone's. She was right. The settlement rewrote our world. New HOA led by Mike and Edith. Bylaws scrapped for real community stuff. Kids ran free across yards. No citations in sight. Gardens bloomed wild. No approved species nonsense. It hadn't been easy getting here. After Greg slipped away, I tracked rumors. He was sipping cocktails somewhere without extradition. Diane's husband kept up his countersuits till the FBI froze their accounts. Laura's video and Edith's notes had sealed the deal. Prosecutors traced every dime, every lie. The senator indicted his career toast. That night, I'd found Mike at Laura's, boat rocking in the dark. Felt like the end of a nightmare. Now, standing on that bridge, I saw new faces in Greg's old house, laughing over a picnic below. What did you learn from this? Laura asked as we walked, her step slow but sure. Sometimes what they try to steal ends up saving you. I nodded, looking at our reborn community. No regrets. Mike joined us mid-span. Not one, I said. Some wins aren't about courts, they're about this. Freedom to cross the water, to hold what's yours. That spring day on the bridge stuck with me. Laura's words, the laughter, the way the lake sparkled like it was on the wind. We'd turned a fight for a rickety walkway into a reckoning that toppled a corrupt empire. Diane was rotting in a cell. Brooks was facing his own cage, and Laura's island, locked in a conservation trust, Safe forever from Lakeview's claws. The new bridge wasn't just wood and bolts. It was us, stitched together by every stand we took. Kids race across it now. Neighbors swap stories over it. And I could reach Laura without a kayak or a prayer. You ever think they'd push us this far? Laura asked one evening, her strength creeping back. Nope, but they built something bigger than they planned, a bridge between us all. She grinned, and it's ours now. Damn right it was.